Okay, let's get into this one right here. Well, ESPN is saying, is this the best year for LeBron James yet? At 40 years old. Oh my goodness. Folks, I don't really mean to be, a Dreamers Pro reporter of ESPN or a worker of ESPN or a guy who makes money and gets paid by ESPN and by Fox Sports via Disney. I don't mean to sound like that, folks. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take Dreamers Pro's job. I promise, man, Dreamers Pro cannot prove me wrong, man. Every time I think this guy can prove me wrong, it's another headline of what ESPN is saying. Stephen A. Smith, Molly Karam, Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, all the people on those networks, folks. It's like I said, 95% of his material is littered about what ESPN said on their shows, folks. So, look, you you already know. You already know the deal, right? So we won't try to beat him up too bad. We know, that's the only reason why he has all these bot subs. I mean, I guess you could say bot too. I mean, BOTN BOUGHT. What? He bought those subs from ESPN. So, am I being mean? I think I'm being mean. I just can't help it, man. It's just funny, man. So yeah, I don't mean to steal his material, his ESPN material, because I know he gets paid by them. So I don't want to make him feel too bad. But he probably already reported this stuff anyways. But I don't watch that trash anyways. But it came across my timeline, and you don't even have to click on it to even see what the hell they're saying. And you don't even have to go to Dreamers Pro's channel to see what the hell they're saying on ESPN, right? So the thumbnail came across my timeline. It says something about, is this LeBron's best season yet? And it says something about, what did it say? Something about him, Stephen A. disagrees, but him still having a great season for a 40-year-old. Something to that full effect. Like I said, you would have to go and watch Dreamers Pro to get the entire video from him. So it's just a joke, folks. And I think what's he, like a minus 19 on the season still, something like that, in the teens. So what are we talking about? The greatest season in a negative? Oh, because he's shooting 77% this year. Whoop-de-doo. 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 Well, shooting 77% from the free throw line. And I think he's at 0.6 in blocks, and I want to say 0.9 in steals. Really? How could you be 0.6 in blocks? So if you was 0.6 in blocks, and you done had a defensive resurgence all of a sudden, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So what was your blocks before that? What was it, like 0.3 or something? I mean, it's a complete joke, folks. Of course, what's he at, like 51.9 field goal percentage, which is a complete joke. He should at least be up to 54. I'm being serious. Can anybody tell me why he wasn't playing, this so-called great play, or however they say he's playing? How come he wasn't playing like this for Anthony Davis? So since the Great White Hope shows up, now he wants to play. Now he wants to play a little defense, and now he's on a defensive first team. Now he's an all-around player. Now he plays on both sides of the court. So what are we saying? I promise you, wait till the end of the year comes. When it's close to the end of the year, what will they be saying, folks? They will be saying that LeBron James picked it up for Anthony Davis. He became the Lakers' big man. Let me tell you something. If they don't win the championship, let me tell you again. If they don't win that championship, or hold on, well, I won't say that. Some people will say it. We'll come back to that in a minute. But Luka went to the championship last year. So the expectations, if Kyrie took him to a championship, LeBron James has to take Luka to the championship, at least. Where was Kyrie in the rankings? Ooh, we don't even want to. The ESPN rankings? Do we even want to find that out? Man, that man must have been like 77th or some crazy-ish, right? So we already know that. So Kyrie could take Luka to the championship. I'm not trying to say he carried Luka to the championship. No, I'm not trying to say that. And I'm not trying to say LeBron has to carry Luka to the championship. But I'm just saying, as a sidekick, you should be good enough to take LeBron James to the finals. If you don't show up to the finals, you need to be under Kyrie as far as ranking. They said you was ranked number 7th this year. They probably didn't even give Kyrie a number this year or last year. Remember all of a sudden they like Kyrie because he took the Great White Hope to the championship. Before that, it was like, what they say to Kyrie? What they say to him? Nigga, know your place. You was a slave. You was a slave. You was nothing else in this world. You did nothing. Your people was nothing. You was a slave. That's the story that we're going to give you, and that's a story you got to stick with. Don't be trying to convince these people out here, these black people, that you was anything else but a slave. But we all know that's not the truth. How could that be the truth when King James was black? King George was black. Abraham Lincoln was black. George Washington was black. Andrew Jackson was black. Ooh, let's carry on. Woo! Let's stop the nonsense. So, LeBron James, who is obviously that's who I'm leaning towards. He's a bloodline too, right? King James, he looks just like him, right? Go look up Black King James. Looks just like LeBron James. And I guess it's a wonder why he calls himself King James. So you think he would call himself King James after a white man? Okay. I mean, we got all King James, first official Bible. It's in Cambridge University. Last time I seen he was black. His wife was black. His daddy was black. They got all the images of him. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on, folks. So yeah, it'll be LeBron James' turn to turn it up. And he better take the Great White Hope to the finals. And this is what I'm going to tell you, folks. Well, I tell you a lot of stuff that people won't tell you, but you see what happens. Why did they not monetize me, man? They should have monetized me, man. There's that guy that says a whole bunch of crazy stuff and stuff that's not going to get him monetized. Oh boy. So let's talk about why LeBron James is not going back to the finals. And why LeBron James will never, since he went to that bubble championship, he will never go back to the finals, folks. The only way, well, we're going to tell you in a minute why he's not going back. But let's say there is a way he could go back, right? I'm going to tell you the only way it will be possible for LeBron James to go back to the NBA finals is some ish pulled off like 2020, and it was a easy road to the NBA finals, folks. And it might be. When we're looking at things, well, hold on, we'll get back to that. See, I don't want to jump ahead. Let's go back to what we was talking about. Why I don't think he wants to go back to the finals, and why he really hasn't went back to the finals since 2020 is because he don't want another L. He don't want another L. He don't want that L. Okay? But because if he gets that L, whew, it's really over. They will. I'm talking about they would knock him out that top 10. I'm talking about even the LeBron James butt lickers. He will be out. And right now, LeBron James can play for 25 years because it's a no-touch era unless LeBron wants to punch somebody in the mouth. So He's just there to collect a check. That's it. And sell tickets for the Lakers. Also, to sell YouTube. Remember, only a loser can get talked about this much. If anybody else was losing, and it's not only because of him, because we wouldn't even be talking about him if the media just says it is what it is. And they didn't lie, right? So that's what makes the whole thing what it is, the lie. So this is what's selling on YouTube and social media. The lie. Not really the debate, him versus Jordan, because everybody know that's not even a debate. That's not even a debate. What sells is the blatant lie by the media. Not him saying he's the GOAT. It's the media saying he's the GOAT or he's top 2 player of all time. Even though we can go over all the great players of all time and we can say they had skill sets, offensive skill sets, right? If we talk about Michael Jordan, the offensive skill set, can shoot free throws, shoot the 3 whenever needed, the mid-range, great defensive player. We go down to Wilt Chamberlain. What do we need to say on offense? The greatest offensive player, maybe of all time. And maybe, one of the greatest defensive players of all times. We can go to Kareem, 2-way player. What are we talking about? Okay. We go to Magic Johnson, greatest point guard of all time. Great rebounder for a point guard. He was a great shooter too. Shot 50% or more just about every single year, while having 2 steals titles. So basically, an overall game. I wouldn't say a great 2-way player, but a great offensive player and a good overall, on both sides of the court. A clutch player, a winner, a leader. Kobe Bryant, 2-way player. I mean, what do we need to say? They say Kobe Bryant is the most skilled of all time. I mean, we don't even have to talk about Kobe Bryant. I mean, we can go down the list. Larry Bird, one of the greatest offensive players of all time. One of the greatest offensive skill sets of all time. What about Tim Duncan? One of the greatest paint players of all time. In a 2-way player. Hakeem Olajuwon, a 2-way player. We know these guys in the top 10. Even we talk about Shaq, one of the most dominant players of all time. He was a better defender than LeBron James. But when we talk about LeBron James, he don't have any paint work. He can't give you no paint work. He can't shoot free throws. He can't shoot the mid-range. He sucks at 3 for his career. He's not a leader. So we're just trying to understand when I say those type of things, how could it be a better player in front of these other guys? And he's got a losing record compared to these other guys in the finals. And these guys that go around jumping team to team to team to team. Right? So I don't understand. So you're basing that on some MVPs? So they're not basing that on some skill set, offensively, defensively, in a winning record in the championship, in clutch. They're basing that he's better than those players because he's got more MVPs. What? That makes absolutely no sense. Because if you take away the 2 MVPs that he don't even deserve in Miami with his super team, how would you ever rank him above those other players? And you couldn't even do it right now with Kareem because Kareem had 6 MVPs. And what are they gonna say? That's because he blah blah blah. A bunch of dribble folks. Don't tell me he played with Magic Johnson and he don't have enough Finals MVPs. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. He's not better than Kareem. No way. Like I said, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of the greatest 2-way players of all time. Kareem might have like 2-3 defensive players of the year and more block titles if that was available. I mean, can we just stop? The media is making ourselves look dumb. If you're a great just in statistical titles, these guys that I mentioned bury LeBron James. So let's talk about him possibly going to the finals and how that would shape up, because I just told you, I don't think, he hasn't been there to the finals since 2020, because he don't want to have another L on his record. So since then, he's just been in it to collect paychecks, and the NBA's been okay with that, because they've made money. Even though they lost money, they've made a lot of money on other shit, on controversy. And that's the only thing keeping the NBA alive. Is nonsense from this guy. So if a perfect storm could brew up, and it looks like it might be happening, Kyrie's out. They're talking about shutting AD down for the rest of the season. And I'm going to tell you guys, the more I watch Denver play, they got to be one of the worst championship teams of all time, folks. When I go back and look at this team now, and when they won that championship, it's hard for me to say that for people, winning the championship, but let's be real, man. These guys play, they just don't have any type of defensive mode in them. None. Do you know Joker is supposed to be one of the greatest centers of all time and is not even averaging a block this season, folks? A center can't even get you a block. This is supposed to be... See, you guys make me do this, man. How is your team supposed to be playing defense when you're out there trying to get triple doubles, man? I'm just saying. This guy cares more about... I don't want to care about no help defense and, all this nonsense for a center. I just don't see them winning, man. I don't see them beating the Lakers. I don't see them beating... I can see them getting beat by... You know how they got beat by Minnesota? I mean, what was that? What was that last year? Not trying to take nothing away from Minnesota, but really, what was that, folks? And it was getting drummed before they come back and win a couple games. Remember, because they... who was it? Karl Anthony Towns was, giving him problems. Joker. And they were saying, oh, man, it ain't him, man. It ain't, They always make up all these excuses for Joker, man. All these excuses. That's all this guy wants to do is put up triple doubles, man. And like I said, they've already, well, at least the good teams, they've already solved the riddle now. Don't let Joker run the offense. And now, the whole team, it blows up the whole thing. The whole team looks confused. I'm just saying, folks. So, I don't have any trust in Denver. Not the Clippers. Are you kidding me? Memphis? Nope. Who else? I just don't have no confidence in these teams, folks. I'm not buying it. Yeah, I don't have no trust in Memphis. And I'm gonna tell you, OKC is what they are. They haven't won anything yet. They just haven't. So until we see them win something or go to the finals, they're still OKC. They haven't proved nothing. And I'm trying to tell you that the Lakers could have a perfect storm. That somebody could knock OKC off, and then they'll be on their way. So they won't have to play OKC. It'll be like this perfect storm, or somebody beat Denver, and then the Lakers. The Lakers could play OKC and knock them off. Because what we're looking at right now, you don't need a center. It looks like you don't even need a center in this. I was saying that the other day, and I hear people saying that now. And it's cool, but I mean, I'm not trying to say I own that. I mean, it's obvious. If somebody's saying it, I'm not trying to say like they should give me credit, but I'm just saying, now everybody's saying it. It's obvious. You don't need a center in this weak era. You don't. If Joker is only averaging less than one block, and it's supposed to be the best center in the league, please, folks. So to me, I wouldn't be surprised if, if the Lakers get that perfect storm. That's the only way for them to go to the finals. Now, it has to be perfect, if you know what I mean. It just ain't about the West, because we all know this is maybe the weakest West this season, I would say, since the 80s. Just not that good. One of the weakest West since the 80s. I'm sorry, folks. It's not the 2010s West. It's not the 2000s West. It's not the 90s West. It's one of the weakest West. And I would say it's weaker than the 80s. I really will. So also, we know that the East is stronger than the West. But what the Lakers need is that perfect storm. And that consists of some dummies getting knocked off in the East. A lot of good teams get knocked off in the East. That's what they need. They need that. They need that perfect storm right there. Now, will it happen? Nobody knows. It might happen. But if the script calls for that, guess what, folks? That will happen. It will happen. Don't think it won't. It will happen. So yeah, you need that perfect storm. And if you don't think that'll happen, look what happened in 2020, right? They end up playing. What was it? Was that a play-in? I don't know if that was a play-in heat or it was like the 8th seed or something like that. They was definitely bottom of the barrel. They was definitely bottom of the barrel team. So it can happen. It was a perfect storm for the Celtics last season. And this is the dumb stuff, man, that we can't even. These guys are supposed to be competitors, and they're supposed to be competing, but they're getting to the finals playing nobody. We just never seen this back in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s and stuff like this. These guys getting to the finals playing nobody, and then get to the finals and play. We've just never seen that, folks. We never seen the Bulls play some 8th seed. Same thing with Denver. Denver played like a real low seed Miami Heat. I mean, we never seen this stuff back in the 90s. The lowest you would see maybe like a 2 seed. It was rare for a damn 3 seed to be making the finals. Especially a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7. What are we talking about? We're talking nonsense. So I just don't get it, man. But yeah, that's your perfect storm right there. Remember that. Either LeBron James is never going back to the finals because he don't want that L. But I said, remember, if he don't get to the finals this year, and Kyrie got to the finals last year with Luka, oh yeah, this is on LeBron James. Because trust me, this West is weaker than the West this year. Ain't no comparison. And and we all know, anyways, if he don't go there, he's gonna be doing like he's been doing, not going back to the finals. Not only because he don't want that another L, but because he's just been doing this for money, folks. Who can be talked about this much and be a 4-6 loser? Nobody in football, well, NFL, NHL, MLB, what's it called? Whatever that soccer league is. I don't know. Soccer ain't too big here though, so I guess we can't be talking about championships or nothing like that with soccer. Although he's no Pele, because we all know Pele is the real GOAT. Pele is the real GOAT. But yeah, like I said, man. And if he does go, we already talked about why. If he does go, he's gonna get an easy ride. Everybody's gonna get knocked out. Don't get me wrong, he'll probably play one good team or something like that, yes. But remember what'll happen to that one good team. It'll play like ish. They'll get all the calls. That's it. Why do you think that they done jumped up to the number 2 seed all of a sudden? Because they'll play 2 bad teams, and then in the Western Conference Finals, they'll play one good team. Well, they'll get all the calls. Trust me. They ain't doing all this for nothing, folks. You'll know. You'll know sooner than later what's going to happen. But yeah, LeBron James could use this same energy for AD. It didn't exist. He didn't want to be the man for AD. Remember that? What happened? So let's talk about Anthony Edwards real quick, because I know they're going to throw it in my face. They're going to be like, oh, how come you didn't? You know, Anthony Edwards had a good game last night. All this stupid stuff, right? You didn't get the man props, man. You always banging on the man. This is what I'll tell you. Anthony Edwards had a solid game. He did his thing against nobody. I'm sick of these dudes putting up all these numbers and having good games against nobody. I'm not impressed. Not impressed. They might be somebody to you, Memphis. They're nobody to me. And you come talk to me in 2 weeks and see where Memphis is. Memphis is going to be damn near in the play-in, folks. It's that bad. They're that bad. They're going to be in the damn play-in. It's going to be that bad. So come talk to me in 2 weeks. Don't tell me nothing about them beating some Memphis. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear nothing about it. So it is what it is. And like I said, the game before that, he played like trash. He played limited minutes. He didn't take a lot of shots. And I think that's because he didn't play a lot of minutes. But he put up 44 points the game before that. And then came out the next game and didn't do nothing. Like the dude took a break. Remember the 44 points? That was coming off of a suspension. So he was like, okay, I'm going to show y'all. And I think he shot like 14 threes or something like that. It was ridiculous. And he scored 44 points. Of course, he went to the line a whole bunch of times. And yeah, man. And then the next game after that, I think he scored like 17, played limited minutes, I guess because he was tired. Ain't this the same guy that said they was making up excuses last year that he was tired? He was young and he was tired. Like, dude, you're in your fourth season, and all you do is run to the three-point line and post up right there. How could you be tired? This is stuff that they say about college kids or first-year players, rookies, that come into the league and are, playing in a playoff game. They don't say this about a guy in his fourth season, that he's tired. Dude, you want to be, I ain't saying you want to be, but they was comparing you to Michael Jordan. This dude had a motor like no one in this world. Michael Jordan had I don't even think nobody's seen that since. Michael Jordan's motor. I'm talking about in the 80s. Nobody's ever seen that. And I guess you could say about 84 all the way to 84 until 93? Mike still had the same motor in 93, really. What the hell are these people talking about, man? So no respect for Anthony Edwards. You can goo gog all over this guy. I'm not going to do it. Until he really starts to show me something, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Don't let me start talking about this guy again. But what I came to talk about really was, are you going to watch this game tonight between the Knicks and the Lakers? I'm not. Who the hell is going to stay up and watch that game? I'm not. Are you? No, you're not. Unless you're on the West Coast. I mean, some people will, I guess, if they don't work. There's a lot of YouTubers that don't work. And guess what? Good for them. Good for them. If they ain't got to work, I don't blame them. I'm not trying to say, bad about it. I wish I didn't have to work. But, it ain't even got nothing to do with work, right? It's sometimes I find myself like on a Friday or something like that. And I'm like, I'm not staying up for this. Sometimes I don't be interested in watching the Lakers play, man. Or, some of these other teams play because the game ain't exciting. It's like the same trash. So they got Philly and they got the Celtics. That game is gonna bomb. I think they shut Joel Embiid down for the season. Paul George is averaging a half a point this season. It's ridiculous. This guy says, "Oh, I'm gonna shut the podcast down and concentrate on my game." You ain't did nothing since then. You still suck. I mean, I don't believe these guys make this kind of money. We've been told. Do they make millions? Yes, they make millions. I don't believe they make what we're told. No way. First of all, if that was true, first of all, a lot of things And you guys already know what I think about that. And the hell? You guys already know what I think about that. But another thing about that is you're trying to tell me that the owners wouldn't be like, you can't be podcasting during the season. You already make tens of millions. How much could you really make? How much more could you really make not concentrating on your damn game in podcasting? Seriously. How much really could they make? Yes, that money is significant. Yes, it's a lot of money to me and you. You know, that's if they got, seriously. They would have to have at least 1 million subs for it to even start to be McDonald's money for them. I'm serious. Tens of millions? That's why I said there's no way that these guys could make this kind of money. Because if they did, the owners would be checking them. Look, dude, I'm not going to pay you 60, 50, 40, 30, 20 million for you to podcast and not concentrate on the 60, 50, 40, 30 million that you're making. They would have shut that down a long time ago, folks. Another thing that just proves my point. These guys, they always need more money. They need money. They need extra money for an in-season tournament. What is $1 million, folks, to them? What is that? What is that after taxes? They will take that money and wipe their asses with that money. That's nothing. If you're making 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, 60 million a year. That's literally $1,000 to them after taxes. $1 million? It's nothing. And all of them can't even win the damn tournament. So they're not even, all of them ain't even getting $1 million. If they was getting $1 million. It's ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, this podcast, P, it's ridiculous. He knows they know they need to do all this stuff because they're not making all this money, folks. They're not making all this money. They're not. It's called entertainment. I don't care if anybody, wants to say this or say that. Fine, it's cool with me. But they done gave me every indication, and they done told me everything they need to tell me. Especially this group of era guys. This group of era guys. Yeah, right. The guys who aren't even, like, if you told me this and we had great ratings, everything was going good, the NBA was on the up and up, and you told me these guys were making this money, I would say, okay, they still don't deserve it. All they're doing is bouncing a damn basketball up and down the court. But okay. But that's not the case, folks. The game is going down the drain. The least watch viewership of all time. There's no defense. They play one-sided offense. They only shoot threes. They don't play no defense. They don't market these guys. Look, for the young people, I wish you could have been back in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s. The way they used to market everything was just insane. Sports, players, actors, actresses, everything. It was great. Musicians, everything was marketed at the highest level. It's not like that no more. These sports players are not appealing. They're not. We was telling you this the other day. They don't even have basketball names. Anything that has to do with their game. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. Magic Johnson, Air Jordan, The Answer, the Black Mamba, they all had special names that had to do with basketball. 9 out of 10 of their names had to do with their game. Seriously. Not today. Not today. King James, what the hell is that? And you can go on down the list with all of them, really. Joker, what does Joker have to do with his basketball game? I'm just saying, man. Greek Freak, what does that have to do with his basketball game? We went over this the other day. I'm not going to go over. These guys have, nicknames. Ain't got nothing to do with their game. We talk about Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man. What the hell does that have to do with his game? What does that have to do with his game? So when they market him on his commercials, if they do call him Ant-Man, it has nothing to do with his game, folks. To me, this guy is one of the biggest frauds of all time. For real. He's starting to be like a LeBron James, to me, a fraud. Running his mouth and can't come through. In his weak, soft era, where he should be scoring 30 points a game easily, folks. Easily. He should have made defensive team at least one time. Has never made All-NBA first team. Never. And I don't think he's going to do it this year. He might, because Luka's hurt.